Or you have a soft plan.
And you know me, I never talk.
There you go. I'd like to call the meeting to order on April 7th, 2026, the town of Dupont, monthly board meeting. I'd like to start out with the prayer. Led by God.
Lord, thank you for the time you've given us today. Pray, Lord, that you bless this meeting, that you put your hand upon it. Pray, Lord, that wise decisions be made, that, God, we can be good stewards of the kingdom that you've given us. Pray that you would grant us your blessing today. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, George. Next call, the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You see what that camera just
We'll
did?
see.
Yeah.
Pivot it down a little bit.
No,
Like
it's
it's following me.
yeah, it's tracking.
Boring news staring at the back of my head. We have a few church members that might prefer it.
Thank you. They could use my hair loss video. No, having this.
Almost lighting setups. I don't know if you like me to finagle with it while y'all get rolling.
I really don't know what this thing's doing. I think it likes Caleb.
Have you guys been busy in the office? A lot of stuff going on.
His was probably the most
Stuff
prominent face.
Yeah,
Construction
oh,
world
yeah.
is just stuff everywhere.
So this is the actual.
So you think with them?
I'm trying to stay out of this meeting.
That's why they need to get that. Just like transferred over and go, yes. Yes, probably. So it's really good business.
Could be right there. Settings.
Sounds great. Sounding great.
You sound like you're speaking from experience.
Maybe.
So this,
I have
this is this.
Bless your name. It was all tatted. He said, "This is my favorite thing. I've had this thing 26 years or something." So we start talking. He's like, "I got that brush pile out there by my leg." He said, "There's no wind in gas. Where's it gonna go? It's got the road on one side and
Cracking
on
is
the
on.
other." Well, it could cost for hoodie needs. He had to stop his hoodie and they wrote it to get it wet. Beat the He was so mad at me.
You turn it.
The very same day he said I've got it for 20 years.
It's all tattered.
It's on contracting. So let's see if you go maybe click that off.
He's so mad. I said, "I listen to you again." My hoodie.
Maybe unclick that group tracking. More tracking settings.
A week ago, I thought, wow, we did at the house. I think I was out there keeping the church.
On the church live stream sometimes too, and it's
Well,
it's fun.
You can play with it. But that is
Well, I
the
didn't think it
camera
was.
part, and then that is the
Yeah,
recording.
the OBS.
I was telling this guy, like, that's it. I think once they start like waking my kids up at 11:30 p.m. But got to bed. That's probably justification to be able to, give me a paint job.
Hey, it wasn't me. Never mind.
Well, at least they have fun.
That should give you a good starting point, Robin.
What?
I think we're
I had
good.
a party at East Town Farm once a year. It was 1 o'clock, we were there. But
It's
I
not
invited all my
tracking you
neighbors.
anymore. It
Everybody
never
brought their
set.
kids and we had pulled pork and
Do you want me to
food, and we
stop and
always
restart it,
took cars.
or just keep rolling from there?
Just keep
I mean, like
going.
it's
I can edit it
it's
out.
on your property.
Yeah, we're good.
Road right there. Also, where you're just like don't even have anybody looking out, see if anybody's coming around the corner. You know what I mean, you're just like,
Let's talk about that. For some reason, that camera likes Caleb. Okay, let's take attendance. Lonnie Dickon.
Here.
John Adams.
Here.
Caleb Malcolm.
Here.
Belinda Gill. Here. Robin Meek, I'm here. Heidi is not here, and Scott Williams is not here. For visitors today, I have Patty Jackson, Mary McCarty, Josh McDonald, and Christine Dickon.
Thanks for being at so many of our meetings.
No problem.
Can I get a motion to approve last month's minutes?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right. The treasury report, no.
What was that? So, Jonathan.
It's telling you what it is. It should be 250813.
With that correction, can I get a motion to approve treasury report?
I'll make a motion to accept the treasury report.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Just so you know, on the playground account there,
Yeah.
I still got another $100 to deposit in there. So we had the Easter egg hunt and everything that went with it, and we came out $200 ahead.
That's amazing. It cost the county anything to have.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Good event when everybody's happy. That's the move.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's good. And that was perfect. Yeah, it was.
Move along to old business. First topic is the sewer grants and the income study. And we have a copy of the letter that Patty had written for the income study. One question that I had, Patty, on this where it talks about the businesses in the west, did you include the school in that list?
Yes, I think. Oh, yeah. I do talk about the closing of the school in the fall. Yeah,
I just kind of scanned through and I noticed that earlier on that.
we do. It does say, it mentions an article in the Courier that cited the hardship since the closure of the Dupont Elementary School.
Right.
But I can add it in as a list on the list too.
And one more question that I have for you is if we did follow through with the Oprah grant, does that limit what we could do with the building in the future? What could be done with it?
With the community center?
And the reason I ask that, yes, if the community center say that 10 years down the road, the school wants to open the school back up because they're overcrowded, could it ever become a school again? Or does it have to remain?
Isn't it fun?
For yeah, it's 5 years from when the project is completed. I think they kind of vary when that date. Sometimes it's after your audit or when the project's complete. But for 5 years, it has to say.
That's a community center.
Mhm.
That was just a question. I wondered how old is that? We kind of all that said we didn't know.
So,
Especially since long term, we've not really arrived at a conclusion of that.
so I brought Mary with me tonight because she is the Oprah expert. And I haven't, well, she's been doing Oprah grants a lot longer than I have. So I'm hoping that any questions that I couldn't answer the other night that we can, have a real good conversation this evening. Because I know you guys have a lot of concerns with
one of
the
our-
sewer versus the community center and who should go in and when and all that stuff. So
that as well as the fact of the Oprah grant, I don't think as a board we feel comfortable for filing for this grant, knowing that that building belongs to the trustee, which the state is eliminating townships and trustees every day.
okay.
And I don't want to see it transferred to the 5013C because that's all relying on 5 people. And if 2 of those 5 get mad, then it's the remaining 3 people. It could be a really ugly situation. And I don't want to see everybody work hard in the county end up with the building.
Right. Does it have to be in the name? Who does the property have to be in the name of? Right. For the grant. Does it have to be in the town or just a 501c3?
It could be the 501c3, and
Okay.
didn't Oprah say you could put it as the township as well? Did they say that?
But the thing about that is, I mean, the townships are more than likely will be resolved in 3 years.
In how many? 3 years?
3 years.
Okay.
So
So it sounds like we need to have a conversation with the township trustee.
well, and then if he wants to sign the lease, but they're wanting to, that whole thing is very confusing to me. On the fact that they're wanting to lease it to a 5013C, and I understand if you get the grants because the people working, I understand that. But what happens if the township is dissolved and they got a lease, but they got a lease with who?
Right.
That would be a legal question that you can.
Yeah, exactly.
That's out of our.
Does Oprah allow a lease, like a 99-year lease or anything like that? Instead of like, would they just
I guess I'm just confused. So what I'm thinking, typically what happens is Oprah, city, county, or town can apply for their fund. If you don't own the facility yourself, then you have what's called subrecipient agreement with the entity that does, and typically that needs to be a 501c3. Now, I don't know if we've asked, in kind of a unique situation because your township is at play as well, to see if they could be.
township cannot?
They cannot.
They cannot.
Okay,
That's why they do have their 501c3 established. That's my understanding.
So it would either need to be under your ownership or under the ownership of the 501c3.
Okay, then does their ownership as a lease qualify them for ownership?
I think you can do a 99-year lease, but we probably need to double check it for certain.
Mhm.
So the lease, 99-year lease between.
I guess
Between
what
the
it boils
town and
down to, just being
501c3.
straight up honest, is there's a lot of us on the board that doesn't trust the people on that board because we've had past dealings. It's not been a very pleasant situation.
I've mentioned the fact that it's required to be authorized by the board, so I don't see why, we would be authorizing something and then just passing it over, that kind of way.
We're paying the bills.
I will tell you a couple things. And Patty probably used to look at this. It's a very competitive process. It's best for folks to align. If you have any reservations, get those dealt with up front because they'll come out. Oprah comes down and does a site visit. We have to answer with your help an extensive amount of questions.
All that I tried to accomplish with this, and it's terrible because I sit on the advisory board as well.
Okay.
And the member of the advisory board will not sign to release that to the other voting member will not sign to release that. All that I asked from the township was to give it to the chamber so that it's guaranteed to stay here. Then the town could lease it to the 501(c)(3).
Yes.
I will want to see it. I don't want to see it get in the county's hands, and I don't want to see
Right.
a sole 501(c)(3). That's fine. I sit on that board as well. So there's a lot of members of that board that can't even vote. I mean, because technicalities and things. And that could be a very cropped up situation.
So has the town talked to the township trustee?
I have talked to him. He will not. He does not want us to have it.
Why?
It's a very strange, like I said, I'm on that board. I talk to him all the time.
Okay.
It's a very strange situation. It's kind of a topic we don't talk about right now.
We must have gone wrong.
Because we're friends. It's nothing like that, but it's
Right.
I don't know. I just feel I honestly feel like that if he signs this lease, which I don't know how he's going to sign that lease with the board not approving that lease.
So this is a question I have also, Mary. If the township trustee owns the property and they do a lease to the 501(c)(3), how does that work with the town?
We ask that. That's an
We'll have to
unusual
ask
situation.
Oprah.
Yeah.
It's a very
Yeah.
well,
And you didn't come here to,
no,
you came here.
I'm just asking because I know that like the town of Vernon, the school belongs to the town of Vernon, so
Right.
they could get the Oprah grant,
Mhm.
or vice versa, Knightstown.
Mhm.
And there's several of those situations that belong to the town, so it would stay
Yeah.
and be a permanent fixture of the town.
And the other situation I've worked with is in community with Town of Versailles. The 501(c)(3) owned the community center,
Right.
and they were the applicant. And they had a subrecipient agreement, but the township, not the township, but the community center paid for all the operations, maintenance, everything. Basically, the town was just a pass through. So it can be done either way, but when throwing the township in there, that's complicated.
Well,
but
where we get apprehensive about it, that's all been self-sufficient, relying on they get all the rooms leased out. That everything works as planned. That's the whole thing of being self-sufficient. And if it's not, and that's not going to be an easy task because we're in the middle of nowhere and nobody wants to come here. So I'm not saying they can't do it and they won't work. I'm not saying anything bad about the people that's working really hard on it, but it's going to be one.
It sounds like we need to all sit down and have a conversation with everybody in the room.
Yes.
And see if we can figure out how to make this work. Because it's all for the betterment of
It
the
is.
community.
And the
So,
momentum's strong on the school.
It
I don't want
is,
to see the
yes.
momentum die.
right.
But on the backside of all this, on our minds, we have a wastewater plant that 2 weeks ago crashed.
Right.
And we've got it back
I
up
heard
and
that it
running.
went down.
Yeah, it went down. And we're looking at alternative ways to fix it. Scott's got a guy working on actually Thursday. I'm walking with Bobby to just put new pumps and new controls in our pump. If the rest of it's good, we can get by for another 20, 30 years if you update those. We're trying every avenue that we have to satisfy our situation and be helpful. We have to have sewer before we have school.
So that's the other thing that we were talking about tonight, I think, was the sewer project.
right.
And so did you guys get a copy of did you guys have a preliminary engineering report that Westler did?
No,
Or was
that's
it a
the thing.
smoke study?
They did the smoke study.
Okay.
The engineering report, he was supposed to do that. He met us that night in a meeting and he wanted to get back with us. It's a kind of a weird deal. So that's why Bobby is meeting
Bobby
Phillips. That's why we
Okay.
are meeting Friday or
Oh,
Thursday.
okay.
So that we can get that process started.
Okay.
And then we need to work towards an income study, I understand.
Yes.
And a rate study.
Okay.
And
Yes.
I've seen this is the letter for the course.
I thought that I would go on ahead and get the letter together for the income study because why not? I'm here. If you guys know that you want to do this project and you're pretty sure you want to pursue Okra funds, we can go on ahead and get the income survey done because until that income survey is done, we don't know for sure that you qualify for the Okra funds. So the best thing for us is to go on ahead and do the income survey, find out if you meet that 51% or more threshold, and then move on from there. And if you don't, then you know that you just need to do SRF or ours.
And I have no problem with that.
The preliminary engineering study, I talked to Bobby. I mean, that can be,
Do you know how long it's going to
Yeah,
take?
I mean, that
and
can
how much
take-
it's going to cost?
yeah,
Yeah.
considerable.
Because it usually takes like 6 months to put one of those together.
Well, if we can just update our stuff, or we could just put pumps and things in, it would be,
Mhm.
we could run on one pump until
Okay.
we update
Until you get it
to,
updated.
until we went on the other pump.
So were you guys thinking that you wanted to go in this round 2 for Oprah? Or are you thinking that you want to delay yours until possibly round 1 of next
Round
year?
2,
I don't think we can do it. I don't.
I don't know.
I don't
know that
think
we can
without
have
the
our-
report.
with our rate study too, and,
Right.
and you're at
Okay.
the mercy of somebody getting that done,
Right.
that's,
No, question for you though. I think last time we were speaking, you were talking about the community center,
hmm
aka school,
hmm
was considering round 2 because they were a little bit
Yes.
further along in their application process.
Yes.
Okay. So that is something that they were like working towards.
That would
That's what
be
they
us.
asked me.
that
They-
would be us.
That they would like to.
Yeah.
But you guys are going to be the applicant. So
Yeah.
we need to get a meeting.
We got to figure out what
With
we're
you
doing
guys
best to be able to
and
qualify for a second round.
and figure it all out. So, because we did our first mailing for their income survey, because that's Lancaster Township,
Well,
where your guys will just be the town of Dupont.
Mm.
And we sent out the first mailing Monday for that. And once we get all the required responses that we need, we'll probably have to do another mailing after that, a couple weeks. But once we get all the responses we need, then we'll know if they can qualify or not. And then we need to talk with you guys and see if you want to be the applicant. Because if you don't, they're dead in the water and can't move forward.
And Patty's probably told you round 2, the proposals due September 3rd, which means you have to have a public hearing sometime in August. So if you start you back into those timelines and
Right.
it's now.
It's
You
coming
know,
up
it's coming up
quickly.
pretty soon. And there's a lot of, so that's kind of where we are. So things you can, a town can have 3 open grants, but Okra one has to be, so if you, this is a scenario. I'm not saying this is what you need to do. Let's say you go in for the community center, that would have to be under contract before you can apply for Okra. They have indicated, this is our grant administrator update last week, that they may adjust the timelines. So things will be due a little bit earlier next year. Typically, once you get a grant funded, you have 6 months to get it under contract bid, that sort of thing. So it takes a while because you have to go through the bidding process. So we can't give you a clear time frame for next year because we don't know that yet. But you're probably looking at Yeah. But that has to be under contract. So if you would get funded in the second round, you're probably not going to find out until early 27. You're probably pushing back to the round 2. You're a year out then on the other one. And then remind me.
so,
Yeah.
so I have a quick question. So say that we did put in for the grant for this school and it gets approved and we get it under contract. Does that deduct points for us trying to get our wastewater grant?
No.
Or do they that's kind of what you want. Well, we gave this whole town this amount of money. It's going to be a while before we give them any more money.
If I remember right, you had expressed that the previous meeting that we had, you had said that you thought Rikers Ridge had accomplished two or three different grants
Rikers
at the
Ridge.
same time. Did you
Well,
say that? I can't remember.
No, Rikers Ridge is actually, so we just got the Rikers Ridge sewer grant funded. We're getting ready to go for a water grant now too. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
and it's going to be through the county, but the sewer has to be under contract before the water can go in. So we're doing the exact same thing through the county. The county will be the applicant for that.
Yeah.
And then the water district will be the sub-recipient. So, yeah.
As long as it's not the same. So like if it were a sewer project, you couldn't, there would be a severe points reduction if you went in for another sewer project.
Right.
But as long as you're kind of comparing apples to watermelons, they're not the same thing. And we, who are not in their scoring criteria, anything that they publish, it would not be, unless they say, hey, we did, they have internal conversations that we're not aware of, but no, I don't think so.
I think as long as you meet the income requirements and you show the need and all of that, you have just as good a chance as anybody else.
Makes sense.
Does the township have an attorney that they use?
I don't know who does using that.
'Cause I do think we need to all sit down together, but I really feel like we need
An attorney.
representation and an attorney somewhere.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of these questions that we're asking that's more legal than
Yeah.
Right.
It's
And
out of
we
our
understand.
wheelhouse.
I'm just asking. I appreciate what you're letting us know now. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a lot of questions about it.
We're all unified in that we want to see this done right.
Right.
But
The
you
easiest
can have your
thing
vision
would
clouded
be for
by
the
being
town
too
to own
preemptive.
the building, and you guys just have a lease with the 501c. That would be the easiest
Right.
thing.
But then you got the question, can they just sign it over to us? Or does it have to be advertised and
I don't know.
appraised and the
Definitely.
whole 9 yards?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that goes into the acquisition piece of it on our end. If it's a donated thing,
Mhm.
through the grant, there probably is a few things,
Well,
process
I
you have to
didn't
buy.
see anything.
You didn't.
No, I just didn't see anything. It was still.
I didn't-
But I don't know that Doug will do that. I'm not.
We have another coworker. We have is really good at the acquisition piece of it. If that were something we're donated, then we can just make sure what that process would be. But it probably is going to be a little bit more than just eating it over. Probably has to be a willing buyer. Even though you're not buying it,
Yeah.
Voluntary.
the voluntary transaction.
Transaction, yeah.
They grilled me for like 45 minutes.
Who is yours? Okay.
We use Heidi Kendall
Okay.
Sage downtown, and we have used the other guy in our office. What's his name? Well, we use for the railroad.
Oh, Pat McGrath.
Pat McGrath. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, we all are on the same page. I mean, everybody here has a love for that building. My dad worked there for 30 years as a custodian. We all went to school there. With a lot of love. We just got to do it like he said. We have to do it the right way.
Got to do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see everybody put all this blood, sweat, and tears in, and the county end up with it. And then,
Right.
well, what happens to it?
Right.
And typically in the grant process, like I said, alluded to earlier, it's so competitive. If things aren't done, they can that's pretty. You can kind of sniff that out, an application.
What would be a key indication to them in terms of that being a negative factor that could snuff it out?
There's like public engagement that has to be done. So it's a super
Like
transparent.
some
So say
comments
that
that would
previous
be
meeting
made.
that we
Yeah.
just had, if there was like a negative feedback from
Yeah.
the town.
Yeah.
There's a survey that's
Okay.
been done, or there's
Right.
the public input meetings that are happening. People speak out negatively. Just it kind of shows itself a lot of times.
Mhm.
And it's good that you're having the
It
conversations
is,
now.
yeah.
Seriously.
And the last thing we want to happen is to work with a project that doesn't see fruition and be successful.
Yeah.
Isn't
Well, that's it. But that's our thing. We don't mind helping and doing what we need to do. But like I said, we just want to see that it's taken care of forever. Want to see that it maintains a part of the town.
And-
whatever, the township, the township was really good until they started cutting all the trustees, and
Oh, yeah.
you know, then it get very complicated because they combine them. That's another option. So they might combine us with the Graham Township, or
Okay.
3 of us together, and have it would be that's going to be a very hectic
So when they
situation
turned the school over, why did they give it to the township and not the
because the
town?
township, the way that it wasn't Madison gave that back to Dupont, to the township. They had to. They never transferred the deed from the early days of the school.
It was always owned.
So
by
they
the
tried to
trustee.
sell it, and the deed belonged to the Lancaster Township, and they could not sell it
Oh, wow.
because nobody ever transferred the deed in all the years.
Hmm.
And they had some other pieces of property around it, which they sold the one in the front to Dean Ford.
Mhm,
And then there was one in the back, and they gave us that.
mhm.
It was just a little small part of parcel back there, but they gave that to the township. After this year, after all the years this year, they finally. But that is why that happened. It was never deeded, or it would have been sold. Then
So don't misunderstand.
Oh.
We feel the urgency because of all of the switching around that's happening with township and whatnot.
Right.
I mean, we don't want it to remain outside of either 501c3 or the town board,
Right.
because then, the people whose interest is most vested in the building is going to be controlled by, a conglomeration of townships.
Mhm.
It would be better to be able to figure this out. We're just
Right.
going
So
to set some meetings.
I thought a question where Jefferson County could not even be considered to be the applicant for this with Okra, could they? Because like when you did the Child Advocacy Center, you were taking it through the city, and then they said no, it needed to go through the county because it was benefiting all of the county.
Used to be, it could be either or. It just had to be city, county, or county. They've kind of tightened that in, and probably
Okay.
HUD's probably regulated that to a certain degree. So whatever your service area is the town of Dupont. They typically like to see Dupont be
and
the
like I said,
applicant.
it's not that complicated to me. If you would just give it to the town and let the town lease it to the 501(c), then the town has
I think we
oversight
need to
over the
just
building.
have a meeting.
Then I think it makes
Everybody.
everything
That's just
easier. Oh, trust me, I
Yeah.
have met with the people on that board, and
So,
they're not on that page at all.
well, I did talk with Marlene Coral
Yes.
earlier today because she couldn't remember if they needed to come to this meeting tonight.
Right.
And I had told her, no, I think that this needs to be a conversation between us right now to talk about the sewer and all of that. And, but she sounded very open to they want to, and I said, I think we just all need to sit down at the table together and say this, if in order for this to work, this is what needs to happen. And if
You're going to be signing agreements, and interrupt you, but
No,
you're
you're
signing agreement with whoever is that subrecipient. You have to be on the same page up front and very clear on whose responsibilities are what. And we have to define that in the application as well.
Right.
So and if
Yeah,
having those conversations now, rather you're going to have to.
well, we
Like,
outlined exactly what everybody's roles are. What was that you said?
The problem with that board is they have about 5 non-voting members, and they have 3 people that want to run it all. And that's
It's like,
exactly
to
what's
me,
going on.
it seems like this person, Marlene, is good with that. This person is not good with that.
Right.
It seems to me like they are the ones that need to all get on the same page before they expect someone else to step in and join their page.
Mhm. Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I've not been to any of the meetings.
Right.
Just
They're-
everything I
they're-
hear,
they're-
it doesn't sound like they are.
They are so, the majority of them are so against the town having it at the last meeting. They said that they were just going to pretend like they weren't going to get an Okra grant, and they were just going to try to get Bethany Legacy to fund the whole project.
Oh, okay.
That's was,
I guess
and
that's
it
the part
doesn't
that
have to be
bothers
that
me.
way. It doesn't have to be that way.
Well, then if that's the case, then we just worry about the sewer and not worry about that. So
That's what they said at the last meeting, and that might change.
You might want to
Did
just
they say that out of heat though?
No, that
Being
was just
upset.
more. That was Sean said that. Sean said we're just going to pretend like we're not going to get an Okra grant, and we're just going to ask Bethany Legacy for the money. Let's see how that goes.
I don't want to speak for Bethany by any means.
Right.
Because I don't represent them in any way, shape, or form. But I have worked with grants with Okra that have received Bethany. most grantors like to see their money leveraged with other money.
Right,
And to fund
exactly.
something 100% is
Mhm.
sometimes not favorable. But
And
I'll
sometimes,
leave it at that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't represent them. But
Yeah. But
Legal
most,
disclaimer.
yeah.
yeah.
You may want
That's
to have them
helpful information.
check to say, Bethany, are you willing to fund 100% of it? And ask them to ask that question. If they are, then you can focus on your sewer.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think they've already, from what I've heard, they've already done that. It's a no.
Okay.
That's what I've heard. But,
Bethany announced with Bethany.
yeah,
That they're not going to fund the whole project.
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's $1 million.
Yeah, they want to see that.
The problem is too, the reality of people's minds are, if you can get a building like that, if you can get the windows and a roof and heat and air where you can use it,
Mhm.
is way more important than $175,000 kitchen. That's the reality
Mhm.
of it. You know, that's what comes first.
Mhm.
You make it dry. You put heat. You make it usable.
Right.
Those other things come later. It doesn't.
Mhm.
It's baby steps.
Right.
Because that's a lot of money, and I don't think that $1 million is a lot.
Mhm.
I know they've applied for a grant to make it handicap accessible. Some kind of grants. There's several grants and they work really hard
Right. Yeah.
on finding these grants, Sean.
I know they've
Especially,
been doing like T-Mobile, all
yeah,
these
they've
different
been.
AARP, all these
Yes,
different ones they've been putting in for. Yeah.
yes, they were working really hard at it.
Yes.
In terms of the prerequisites for the application, the studies that need to be done,
Mhm.
what is left for the board or the committee
The-
over the
Income survey is the main thing now, because they've got their feasibility study completed and their cost estimate. I mean, they're other than the income survey, we're ready to move forward with
So,
their project.
I
Yeah.
guess
how far are we looking at
The income survey, probably take 2 months,
Okay.
if that.
And
Yeah.
it's good for 3 years. Is
It's
that
good.
right?
Is it good? 5
5
years?
years.
that?
Okay.
We need to have
So
a
the
meeting
que-
like
so-
yesterday.
Yeah.
So then the question is too, and this was a question that I have asked them as well. What happens if it fails and you can't fill the buildings? You have nobody to fall back on. It just falls back apart.
Mm.
And that could happen within a year or two because the cost to operate that is not going to be cheap.
Some of the question, there's a financial impact section, and you have to kind of explain your sustainability plan for operations and maintenance. So that would be something that you'd want them to demonstrate to you.
Oprah wants to
And I
know
wanna
that they're
see
not
it
just
too.
giving you this money and then it's going to
Right,
fail.
because that and that's it would seem like that would be easy to get the Okra money if they had something backing the like a town, as opposed to a group of individuals.
Mhm.
Because and I hope it doesn't fail. I mean, I want it to do wonderful, but
Right.
the reality is it's going to be tough to rent all those buildings and make that pay for itself.
Mhm.
Now, that was within the category of feasibility study, right? In terms of sustainability with income, like being able to continue to have the income available.
Did they
per
do a
resident.
sustainability study?
Yeah, I was asking if
I
that was
think
within
they
that study
did.
that it's
Yes,
covered.
I think that they did, and I think they estimated like $200,000 a year.
That's a lot of money for that building to
Yeah.
come in revenue. That's an expensive classroom.
And I don't know what all they
And the gym would have to
put
be at
into
least a lot.
that.
There aren't any proposals attached with that estimation.
Not that I
Ideas
know
and
of.
all that stuff.
Well, I don't know. I can't say that I've really gotten into the meat and potatoes of everything they want to do in the community center and what all they told Dan at Gonzalez when he was doing the
I know.
feasibility study.
I
So
know one of the big increases on that was that when Dan had originally did the paperwork and the cost analysis, he had, and I keep coming back to this, but he had just that normal kitchen figured in, and that wasn't what they were expecting, and that was a whole lot.
they wanted more of a commercial.
That was a whole lot. So that makes it.
So John's getting ready to go on vacation. So am I. How and when could we have a meeting?
So maybe kind of what I'm thinking is maybe I need to have a meeting with them to tell them this is what we need to do. Okay. and see what kind of feedback I
Some
get.
nice mediation.
And then get a meeting for all of us together. And I think I'll go ahead and try to schedule for a meeting. Well, I guess I need to see how that meeting would go with them before, because if he's not willing to turn over the property to the town, I really kind of think we're dead in the water, aren't we? Well, we need to clarify with Okra if they will allow the township to own the property, the town apply.
I know I'm
And
pretty
be a
sure that
sub-recipient.
he's not allowed to be the recipient.
No, he's not. I know
He's
that.
not, he's not.
Yeah,
But the
he's not.
501(c), I guess, could
It's-
be the
It
recipient.
can be something.
They could be the sub-recipient. They can't be the applicant. They can be the sub-recipient for the grant funds. Yeah.
And have you all seen the study that they did, the feasibility study?
Yeah, we got some. Yeah,
Most of it.
that's like I said, I've sat in most of the meetings
Mhm.
on that, just to be a part of it more than anything else. And it's interesting. It's
We certainly want to be on the same page with everybody. Both
Right.
entities want to be on the same page. It's a big ordeal. And so I think Patty talking to them and then probably getting something on the books for you all to meet together as, if they, we need to get an answer from Oprah.
Yeah.
And that's
I'll
just, it's a
email
unique
it.
question you're asking that we haven't had before, so we just need to find out.
right, and it's like I said, I don't think if we did that, I don't think we would have a problem releasing it to the 501(c), just so long as somebody to oversee,
Right.
because it's kind of crazy to give this to. Which I mean, it's the engineered plan and the engineers approve the work, and I mean I understand all that. But
It's a lot of responsibility that they're taking on over there.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big
And I mean,
For-
a lot of
for-
them work.
for a board
So-
for a board of like 8 people, man, to love that building, and then they're talking about having to hire somebody to, they're gonna have to have somebody there to try to lease it or do something.
To open the doors when
open the
people
doors.
move. you
Yes,
said? Yeah.
yes,
So
yeah.
and they're going to at least need a part-time employee there. So
Property manager.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
questions.
Okay.
So do you want me? I was going to submit the letter for the income
Yes,
survey because
I
we've got to get Oprah's permission to allow us to do the income survey first.
Yeah, I went ahead and signed it.
Oh, great. Okay. And but I've got an extra copy here, so you can have that one. You sign this one for me. That way you've got one, I got one. And then I need to get a list of residents and rental properties.
Okay.
Yeah, so that we
I can get that for you tomorrow and send it to you.
That's great. And then if you can, like, mark out businesses and those things like that. So, okay. And then I'll get a meeting scheduled with the school committee, talk to them, and then I'll get back in touch with you guys, and hopefully we'll schedule a meeting for all of us to get together.
Then it almost sounds like there needs to be 3 meetings.
Yeah.
John on his trustee board,
Oh, yeah.
because those 3 aren't on the same page. And then,
Oh, okay.
you can meet with your guys, the
Yeah.
501(c), and then we all meet together.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he can do,
It
the
just doesn't
trustee can
sound
do
like,
anything without the board
I'm
member.
saying, it doesn't sound like anybody is on the same page.
And then
From just everything I hear, that
Right.
before we even consider getting involved in it, they all need to
Okay.
be.
so the trustee, that's the township trustee board.
Yes.
Who's all on that?
Oh,
So that's Doug.
Doug Harrell is the
Yeah.
trustee. And then Doug Hobbs is on the board. And John Adams is on that board. And
When do they?
I don't think they have set times to meet. They should have, but I don't think they do. So they probably just set a meeting anytime.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so those 3 need to be on the same page. Because from what I understand, they all have to vote, or maybe
Yeah. And the
Maybe
other question would
even
be is
trustee doesn't have a vote. I
what
don't
do
know.
they have to do if they would be okay with transferring.
Right. Legally. What do they have to do?
legally do they have to do too? Okay. So it sounds like maybe I need to sit with the trustee about it. Yeah. Yes.
No, we were just saying
I'll reach out to Doug and ask
the
when the
trustee
next
board
meeting.
needs to have
Yeah, if I,
you two and Doug Harold.
me and the two dogs.
You and the
Okay.
kids.
Okay. All right.
And then I won't be back until the 19th. When are you coming back, John?
I'll be back, whatever the next Saturday is.
Okay. This Saturday's the 11th, so when are you leaving?
This coming Monday.
This
We're going to leave until Monday and we'll be back Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be back at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. So I'll let you guys know what I get scheduled with who.
Okay.
And then we'll try to schedule a meeting with all of us after those meetings are scheduled.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. All right. And worst comes to worst, we'll just work on this project instead.
Very good. A little further out on that, but
Well, that's okay. It's better to know now and start working instead of calling a couple months before and be like, we want to do this and scrambling around trying to get it done. So,
I just think that people are apprehensive just because everybody wants to see it done. You want to see
right.
it.
Yeah.
Let's live on. I mean, it's been here this long.
Yeah. It's a great
The
building.
gym.
Oh, that
the
gym
gym
is
is-
awesome.
The gym is my big thing.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
It is. It really is. It's really neat.
It would have been in the movie Hoosiers, but one of the heaters leaked on the floor and right on the floor up. They couldn't shoot the movie.
Oh, shoot.
Instead of
I
Night
didn't know
Sky,
that. I love that movie.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
My dad had it when I was a little kid. My dad had one of them so they could look at the gym.
Really? That's really cool.
Remember, it used to leak during basketball game.
At least it does have a new roof now.
Do you guys have any other questions for us?
Yes.
Yeah.
The rate study. What was that guy's name? I can look back at your emails.
Well, Tracy Wine. It's actually a woman. She's with Sherman Barber,
Okay.
Sherman Barber and Mulligan.
I know
And,
Tracy.
Greg's one. I know Greg.
yes, yeah, my husband knows. Yeah, Greg and yes,
I
Tracy.
know I
So,
work for him. Rick
she's
Russell.
she did the one for Rikers Ridge Sewer.
Okay, so she can do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know how
Those
much
two
they charge or anything like that, but
Okay. And then you said at one point that our sewer rates
are low.
are very low.
What are they, like 25?
Yes. Is that points off for the Oka
It's not
grant?
points off. You just
You won't
well,
get as much money.
you won't get as much money.
Okay,
Maybe like
so
600,000.
what do they need
They
to
just
be
changed
at?
that. Well, gosh, I didn't bring the whole packet. You have a packet?
I think I.
And they're changing. They're proposing changing this next year.
So user rates under $30 for projects over $1 million, 650,000.
That's combined water and sewer together. I think.
Oh, it is. So what is your guys' water and sewer together? I didn't know that.
Well, water is now what, 32, something out there.
Okay.
Of course, we don't have anything to do with the water, but the water is about 32.
So you,
But they were proposing at the thing we were at last week online
I was
that they were upping it, doing a sliding scale, and it was be closer to 100. So, but that's not going to go into effect on it, and that's not. They're still.
I know that the water county is going to have to raise the rates because they're, doing the expansion for the debt. So
okay.
is this something that you've seen before where like a similar situation where this there's not a normal rate being given and people want to adjust that to be able to be a little bit more up to date on what it is.
just have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for years, I've been doing this for 30 with municipalities for water and sewer, and people have notoriously town councils don't want to raise rates because it's just not popular and they don't want to hurt the residents. Eventually, the age and infrastructure outweighs that ability anymore. And so, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is every couple of years you just raise it $1, and then people aren't so still shopping at the rate of 50 like that.
I mean, our sewer infrastructure is, 1960s.
So okay.
Yeah, it's old. Oh,
Our region's full of it. Yeah,
Yes,
I've
yes.
that. Yeah.
Well, it's raised $7 in the last 20 years, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is that all?
I don't know.
So what is your water then?
18.
Well, see, the water is
Is
not
30?
Who provides your water?
It's
Dupont
Dupont
water,
Water
but they're not.
Company, but it's like $32 a month.
I think it's
Okay.
$35 a minute. That's
Yeah.
pretty.
And we
Okay.
base this on 4,000, so we could do the calculation, but
Yeah. I'll get with you on that. So you're saying this is combined. I apologize. I didn't know it was combined.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
just
it's
one. So okay.
unless they change
Alright.
it, but now it's
So if your user rates are over $50 and it's a project over $1 million, you can get 750,000. If the project is under $1 million, but your rates are over 50 combined rates, then you can get 700,000.
and
So
that's for this year, but next year that probably the amounts are going to go up as well. So
oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good.
if that gets approved, but it's
Okay.
Just let me know what that is.
Okay, I will.
Saturday.
We might need to do something prior to.
Right.
March.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saturday.
And it's never
Possible.
never a bad
I got
thing to
mine
be
in.
proactive.
and the rate
Yeah.
Help
study
get
is
you the income you need to fix things. So that was the other thing I wanted to make sure I
And
told
should we
you.
do that before the rate?
I
study?
know
Do what?
that
Could we raise our rates a little before the rate
no,
study?
I would
is
wait till
done?
the rate study
Wait till the rate study.
uh,
To show willingness to
just to see where you're at. They can just do analysis, your financial analysis of where you are, of where you're at, and see. You want to rip the Band-Aid off now or later? You know, you're going to rip it off. It's going to hurt.
You're not going to be popular either
Yeah.
way. So.
it wouldn't be more favorable though to go in with the better or the more
Well, that's
the day rate.
Well, if that's what the rate study's for, and if it is, we up our rates to make our
Yeah,
chances.
when you
of
when you do your grant application, you'll have need to up your rate to be able to find out where we can't see if you want to do it. You need to do it prior to the grant application.
Okay.
But I wouldn't do it before the rate study. I wait till the rate study just sees
Okay.
where this just figure out where you're at here. Sometimes you may want to ask them to, and I don't know if they do it or not, but kind of give you what other local towns sewer rates are to give you a little idea of kind of where you are ballpark wise. And that kind of helps you with your public and your residents to say, hey, we don't want you to raise this, but
because we'll be doing public engagement,
mhm.
and it probably won't be pleasant.
I think you know that.
This is again me on site. I get frustrated because I know how hard communities like you work and how expensive it is. You don't want to do these things, and you have to because you want to flush your toilets and turn on the water. We take that for granted. I like to remind people what you pay for your cell phone and what you pay for your streaming on your TV is probably more than what you're paying for your water and sewer that you fed, clean, sanitized, all the things that we take. We live in the United States that we take for granted. It's hard, and I know that's kind of a cold way to say it, but
I installed septic systems, and I just got an email last week that all the materials went up 10% across the board. So
Diesel
that'll be
fuel's
all the
going up,
piping.
so it's-
That's all the piping. Like pumps. So it has to. When it costs a lot to move it, and $5 diesel fuel, everything goes up.
Right. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, it's a matter of do you want to have it or not?
Right.
If so, then there are requirements here for it. I mean, the sewer is not going to last much
The
longer.
problem is, one of the problems of why the rate is so low here, and this is my input, is because we're not like a normal situation. So like out here, if it's a rental house, the water company won't shut the water off from not paying the sewer bill. So the renters will pay just the water bill, and they'll end up owing us, and then we spend a ton of time, effort, and money trying to collect past due sewer bills. That's
Because they're not the same.
You're not the
person
same
running.
company,
Right.
yeah.
Holton Water.
I do think that
finally
there is a
agreed
new
to it.
law that just passed where they
Yeah.
have to
Mhm.
agree to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
they
good.
have to make an
They
agreement.
should.
well, you're not supposed to have water without sewer.
Yes, and that was the
Right.
whole thing. You can't have sewer without water is what it is. So I think there's a new law that just
There
passed.
could be, because I know that's other communities have had this. We
Yes.
worked in the other communities where they face this, and the water company finally came on board and worked with them.
And Ron is the one I was talking to about the other day. So he's gonna try to get some kind of an agreement written up and bring it to the next board meeting for the water company.
get on Doug about that. That's not good.
And the other thing I just want to remind you is, I heard that your pumps went down a couple weeks ago. Make sure, you're tracking all of your
Oh, we
expenses
will have.
because
Man
and man hours that you guys are putting in, because any investment you put in before you apply just helps you with, the more money we show that you guys are spending to keep your system up and that you're trying to, you're not just not doing anything. They want to see that you're putting money into it also.
Yeah,
So,
grandfather influence.
It's nickel and diming us to death
I bet.
recently.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
even like our generator will start, but it won't flip the switch. So somebody has to manually go down when it's
Oh, wow.
power's off, flip the switch on, and then when the power comes back on, you got to flip the switch back off.
Okay.
We've been working on that, and it's so antique.
Mm-hmm.
They can't come up with the parts to correct it. It's just so outdated. It's
Yeah.
historic. He signed up on National Historic
You can get
List.
an historical tree.
we haven't had
How are you?
What do you guys restore? Our sewer system.
identity violations on your sewer.
Knock on wood.
Well, yeah.
Not yet.
That's validated.
There's been very lenient because we have a force main
Mhm.
that likes to blow out and it's under house trailers. And when it does, it blows footing out and cuts ditches to the creek. And
Oh, wow.
it's not a good situation.
Pictures and documentation of
Pictures.
those type of things
It's
is
wonderful.
yeah, you documenting the
Literally
problems that you
pictures
have,
of the
the
poop
failures.
is what we would want.
Well, see what I kind of thought too, it's
Any
like I explained to
problems.
her, the manhole, we have one side of our sewer that's really bad, takes on water. And that manhole that blows off, there's one that's by the highway that lifts. There's another one in the middle on second base of the ball field of the school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You say chicken?
Trying to get pictures of that
Yeah,
when we get a big rain.
we need pictures of that stuff. That will
Dates,
definitely help.
frequency
Dates,
that when
yes.
that happens, how often that happens.
Yes.
If you don't know exactly, a letter from you to say, hey, we didn't keep records prior to this date, but I estimate it's
Well, Scott,
5 times a year.
Scott would know because every time that we get 3 inches of rain, our pumps run for 6 or 7 days. Non-stop. That's why
So
that's electric bill is crazy.
and you're cleaning,
outrageous.
you're treating clean water.
Yes, that's all we got.
Okay.
Rainwater
Yep.
Rainwater.
and gutter drains. 'cause
And
when it's smoke
infiltration
tested-
of stormwater into your sewer system,
Yeah.
everybody, it's bad.
Well, and then when they smoke test, we understand people have a downspouts and everything to it. And
Mhm.
we just sent letters out on that. I don't know how far that's went.
That's hard.
So you're saying we should take pictures?
Yes.
Lots of pictures.
And we
Pictures tell like
Message
1,000
received.
They
I'm just
love
kidding.
pictures.
complaints, if somebody complains about their issues.
Yes. Yeah.
We can't stress that enough because they base this funding on residential impact.
Yes.
We just had one yesterday call.
Okay.
So I can document that
Yeah.
one too.
Yes.
The date, who it was, what the problem was, and
Yes.
if
Just
they're
keep along.
if they're agreeable, they can write a letter down the road for us.
Yeah. For
Okay.
sure.
You better move along.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Thank you
No,
for answering all
thanks
that.
for-
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
thanks for all the
Thank
input.
you. And I
You're
will get
welcome.
those addresses to you.
Okay,
tomorrow.
great. That'd be wonderful.
Also, I mean, it's joking partially, but also it's real mediation that you're doing. So
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Have a good
Bye.
evening.
You guys have a good evening.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Something we will need Thursday is, I guess I can take the map. 811's got a copy of the map. I don't know what you uploaded. If you got to that, I got another email.
Yeah, they won't accept what I uploaded. So I don't know what to send them.
What you uploaded, can you send to me? Because Bobby wants to. know.
Bobby got it.
Would Bobby get it?
Yeah,
'Cause
Bobby came over
I
the
said
other
that you
night.
had access to it.
He came over the other night and
Good.
so he's got that. He asked about the maps themselves. I told him they were here, so let me know when he needed to see one.
Yeah, these are prehistoric compared to that what they do.
Yeah.
Well, my district again is prehistoric.
Tell us about your childhood, John.
Yeah.
Prehistoric.
I think we talked about a lot of this in and out around
Yeah.
it.
I think
Yeah.
we pretty much covered everything in there. The rate study, the sewer, the pump. We can move on to new business. The only new business that I have is we have a maybe possibly stopped up sewer line. Robin notified me of on Reynolds Road here. For some reason they put 3 houses down there on one tap and it always stops up or goes under the road. It's the 3 houses if you pass Chestnut Street. 3 houses right there. They're all hooked on 1 6-inch pipe that goes under the road. It's I will try to get that addressed this week. They're not completely stopped up or anything. It's young one, so. And you want to do the park section?
Yeah, I just update you guys. The Easter egg hunt went, I thought, great. We ended up with 4,200 eggs, which was a tremendous amount of eggs, but it was great. The toilet and the water fountain are being worked on continuously. There was a leak in the back of the toilet today. I don't know if you talked to Ed today.
No.
Okay. So he went and looked at it because I told him about the ring, the wax ring. And where it was leaking at where he saw was where it goes into the back of the toilet. It was leaking there. And it was a little bitty line going into it. So he switched that out, put a little bit bigger line on it, got it fixed and tightened up. So he is going to wait a day or two to see if that stopped the leaking and if the wax ring needs to be replaced. But right now, I got that stopped. The water fountain, he got it back on the wall. I don't know if it is now or not because he had to take it back off, but he got it back on the wall. But you couldn't adjust the water coming out of it. It was either shooting 6 feet over or not coming up at all. And there's a little valve on the front with a little screwdriver that you're supposed to adjust and it won't move. It's stuck. So he had me order the part from that water fountain company to fix that. So as soon as I get that part, he'll fix that so we can adjust it and get the water fountain back up.
The park signs, have you noticed the park sign?
No.
There's a park sign where you come into Dupont. It's kind of, the arrow is kind of the wrong way, so it's on the side of that one, but it's next to the restaurant where the railroad sign is and the fire department sign. I put the park sign on our sign because we're not supposed to be anything on the railroad. And then there's one on the stop sign where you turn right to go to the park.
So that's all I got on that. So the good news today, he is working on it and thinks we can salvage that water.
It didn't look terrible.
Yeah. I guess we don't have anything for open public session, do we? Nobody
You got anything, John? Not really. Not that y'all could help with.
We're gonna move this along real quick here. We don't have any delinquent sewer bills. We have about 5. Heidi got them the other day. She's filing liens against them. So there's about 5, and 2 or 3 of those is really high, like $3,000 some dollars. But as I was saying, Ron, there is a new law that just happened, and water companies have to make an agreement with the sewer company, even if they don't own both, if they're not connected, to turn off the water if their sewer is not being paid. So Ron's working with the attorney right now to try to draw up that agreement between the two of us. So that before they've never wanted to do it, and they actually said no, they won't do it. Ron's asked them before, but the attorney said he didn't think now they had a choice, that they have to agree to.
That will change a lot.
Yes,
I would think about
that will help a lot. Because Ron said they hear it constantly when that people come in to pay their bill. They'll say, Gail will say, "Do you want to pay your sewer bill too?" And they'll say, "No, they can't turn that off." So people know it and they just won't pay it. And then we have to file liens and go to that trouble paying attorneys, and it's a mess. So hopefully that works out and we can start doing that. I don't have the bills and vouchers. There was very few this month. I forgot to bring them.
next meeting be May the 12th, 2026 at 6 p.m.
And that's a regular Tuesday, regular meeting day.
And upon that, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Make a motion. Can I have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Bye.
Meeting adjourned.
We've been fighting the water company for a long time on